Chapter 13, All is Lost. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. The morning after the spectacle, you wait to receive visitors with your mother and Louise. But no one comes, an air of misery hangs heavily in the parlor. Has Lady Saunders already told the whole England that I'm married to Lord Farrell? All because he tried to kiss me? We'll find a solution. I won't allow a moment-long fiasco to derail your entire future. Surely someone will call then, though I haven't seen a single soul even approach the house today. I'm afraid we must face facts. It looks as though no one is calling on dear Louise. Lady Saunders will not be able to influence Prince Maxwell. I saw the way Prince looked at Louise. He was clearly taken with her. Then why does he not call? He must believe I've fallen into ruin with Lord Farrell. And maybe I have. What if I encouraged Lord Farrell without realizing it? No, the fault lies entirely with him. He took advantage of the situation in the most predatory way. Unfortunately, Lady Saunders' story is what matters right now. Society can be so gullible, not to mention fickle. Worry not, Louise. We'll be hosting another ball of our own. It will afford us a chance to clear everything up. But will anyone want to come? And the sound of footsteps in the hallway. Louise perks up, a ray of hope dawning in her eyes, but when the door opens, it's only a footman. Please tell me someone has arrived to visit. I'm sorry, my lady. Only this letter was dropped off by Countess Margaret. As the footman slips out, you peer over your mother's lap to get a closer look at the letter. A letter from Mama. It's from Lord Farrell. With shaky fingers, your mother slides over the note, her eyes quickly scanning the contents. She inhales sharply. Lord Farrell says he supposes he'll be willing to marry Louise, but he has some terms. She pauses, pressing one hand to her forehead. In distress, you snatch the letter from her, reading in growing disbelief. You want your dowry to be paid in full upon a proposal. With additional payments every year? This is utterly ridiculous. I refuse to let my sister marry such an odious little toad of a man. But what can we do, sister? Lady Saunders is telling all of London that I am ruined. Louise looks up at you with a woe-begone expression, her cheeks stained with tears. You rise from your seat, your mind made up. Though we mustn't waste them for a ball, we'll fix society's wrong-headed opinion, one person at a time. You stride out of the room, intent on ordering a carriage at once, but as you turn the corner, you bump into Nate. There you are, Duchess. I've been waiting for you all morning for our next lesson. I figured you could use a distraction. Sorry, my mind's been rather preoccupied today with Louise and the spectacle and everything. Which leads me to today's topic. Thank heavens. He must have some idea how to help save Louise's reputation. I've been thinking about her performance last night. I found another scene we could rehearse. Maybe we could explore more of the physical aspects this time. He lowers his voice to a sensual whisper. In truth, I have not been able to stop picturing our last moments together. Particularly when I'm alone in my bed. He stared at him with disbelief. Nate, the world doesn't revolve around you. Do you actually think now is the best time for this? My sister's reputation is at stake. I must help her. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have calls to make. My apologies, Duchess. I didn't mean to keep you. After all, I'm just the tutor. I know my place. Behind his angered expression, you glimpse sadness in his eyes. The hurt pierces your core. You wish you had time to argue with him, to tell him that he's wrong, but you have to think of your family. I don't have time for this right now. We can continue this conversation later. You turn on your heel, not daring to see his pained expression. Out of fear, your walls might crumble. Forgive me, but I have to think of Louise, and I can't afford to feel guilty. Later, when you've settled in your elegant carriage with your mother and sister, you lay out your plan. You truly think we can change society by calling on all of London? Not all of London. We'll start with those most likely to be on Louise's side. We'll rely on them to spread the real story. Or at least a story that's more enticing than the current one. Surely we'll just tell them the truth? If the truth were enough, we wouldn't be in this situation now. I promise this will work. At the first house, Evelyn rushes forward to embrace Louise as Lady Worth settles beside you and your mother with a cup of tea. Louise, I'm so happy you came. We were unable to attend Lady Saunders' spectacle, but we've heard that is to say, it seems congratulations are in order. What Farrell's considered quite a catch. Actually, he's a leecher. The disgusting little worm of a man has taken advantage of Louise in the worst possible way. What? Oh, Louise, I'm so sorry. That's horrible. Louise offers her friend a watery smile, doing her best to put on a brave face. Thank you, Evelyn. I tried to give Lord Farrell the benefit of the doubt, but the only thing Lord Farrell deserves is the benefit of a swift kick in the rear. Fortunately, Lady Saunders and I arrived before anything truly untoward happened. It was apparent Louise was fending off Lord Farrell's advance, but Lady Saunders seems determined to marry them off. Lady Saunders has a habit of such helpful interventions. In fact, rumor has it she snared her own husband with a similar trick. Then perhaps you'll help spread the word that Louise's reputation is perfectly intact, and there is no need for marriage at all. It would be my pleasure. I did suspect there may be more to the story. See, that's what happens when you're very honest and direct. After exchanging a few more pleasantries, you head off to your next visit to the Frost townhome. Unfortunately, your welcome here is not as warm. Apologies, Duchess, but Lady Frost is not taking visitors at this time. You mean to say Lady Frost will not receive us? I thought Lady Frost was known for her hospitality. Certainly the rumors of her kind and generous spirit cannot have been exaggerated. Perhaps you gave our names wrong at the door. I find the Duchess of Sussington can be rather hard to say quickly. Are you sure? I assure you there's no mistake. Lady Frost is not at home to visitors right now. I bid you good day. But I said good day. Come, my dear. This visit is obviously in vain. As you walk dejectedly back down the path, you can hear scrapes of conversation floating through the open windows of a drawing room. The audacity of coming here, as if we would want it dragged down in that scandal. I have always suspected Lady Louise's naivete was an act. She may have fooled Lord Farrell, but she doesn't fool me. Is it truly that what people think of me? And here I thought the two of us were friends. No, remember we tried to tell her she was a fake BS friend. Pay her no mind, pet. Amelia Frost is jealous of your success this season. I hope the other calls will be better. They have to be. So you see, Sir Somerville, my sister's reputation has been unfairly maligned by Lord Farrell. What a load of dot. My lords and I have known Farrell since we were all at Eton together. Sure, Farrell may get a bit handsy now and again, but who doesn't? After all, boys will be boys. Do I punch him now or later? Good? Seriously? Now Lady Saunders insists that Louise should marry Lord Farrell. It was all just a tremendous mistake. How frightful. It's like that time Sonny was caught in a compromising situation with the most unsuitable beggar. But yes, I suppose I can see the similarities. Don't worry, my dear. I shall let everyone know the truth of the matter at once. And it's all just a terrible mix-up, Countess. Why, Louise has done absolutely nothing wrong. I shall have to give the matter some serious consideration before making my opinion known. But on more important matters, what do you think of my frock? Ugh. Hours later, you collapse into a chair at the townhouse with a much-needed tea. I suppose there were several acquaintances who clearly still can count us as friends. But just as many believe me to be ruined, and we have no way of knowing whether the prince is among them. Oh, Louise, love is all and well and good, but our focus must be saving your reputation right now. Your mother rubs her temples and sets her teacup down in a saucer. I think I may lay down for a spell after this afternoon. I find my poor nerves suffering. Louise manages to restrain herself until your mother leaves the room. She turns to you, tears in her eyes. And what about you, sister? Do you agree with Mom about the prince? Is it better to forget him? I think Mama is wrong. Love matters in marriage. I know how dear the prince is to you, Dove, but we must save your reputation first if you hope to marry him. If only there was a way for me to explain the situation to the prince. Perhaps I could send a letter. He's staying with one of Lady Saunders' close friends. It's too risky to call on her inner circle. They'd likely hide the letter from him anyway. Well, only if they knew it was for me. Could we somehow have someone else deliver it on my behalf? Why, then I could even arrange a clandestine meeting. You could have it addressed from Nate. Just saying. Louise, that's actually rather plausible, if a bit cunning. Where did you come up with such a thing? It's simply popped into my head just now. It seems I'm a genius, like my sister. Unfazed by her flattery and fluttering eyelashes, you maintain a stoic face until Louise drops her act. Okay, fine, I read it in one of my novels, but it's still a good plan. And how does this plan end for the novel's heroine? She marries a prince, of course, but I need your help to make it in real life. Please, Sophie? Of course I'll help, sister. The prince deserves to hear the truth from your lips. First things first, we need to decide what to write. It's important to strike the right tone with something like this. Louise hurries to gather paper and quill, her eyes shining with excitement. My hands are shaking so badly I can barely hold the quill. I don't even know how to start. Oh, what about my dearest lover? I burn for you. Yeah, no, it's a little strong. Well, it's certainly a starting point, but you may want to be a bit more, circumspect. What about my dearest Prince Maxwell? Nothing untoward, but it shows I care. I knew you would think of just the right thing. What can I say? My talents are many and varied. You know how to properly write something that isn't, like, flamboyant. What next? Shall I inquire about the weather as in normal conversation? Surely the weather cannot be much changed where the prince is staying, and we don't want to waste words. You should be honest, forthright about your reason for writing before asking to meet him. After all, Prince Maxwell has surely heard the rumors by now. He will be happy to hear the truth of the matter from you. My goodness, sister, you are good at this. Are you sure you have never written a clandestine correspondence before? You feel your cheeks warm as you think about your scandalous meetings with Nate. Perhaps not so much in writing. She dips her quill in the inkwell, her forehead creasing with concentration as she thinks. But how best to describe it? What about, do not be fooled by Lady Saunders. She is a harridan and a liar. Perhaps, it's a tad too intense. After all, Lady Saunders may be a busybody, but she's still a woman of tremendous influence. I am convinced she meant to do well by you, however misguided her efforts may have been. I wouldn't go that far. Listen, yeah, no, I need you to back that up. Can we undo this? Can we? I suppose you're right. Besides, I wouldn't want to alarm the prince with the strength of my emotions. Men are so easily overwhelmed, don't you think? Yeah, I'm gonna need you to back that statement up, too. It takes some time and a few crumpled pages, but before long, Louise has sealed the letter. She clutches it to her breast. Soon the prince will be holding this note in his own dear hands. Not if you don't give it to me to deliver, Dove. Louise presses a final kiss to the note, ties a ribbon around it, and then hands it to you, the ornate letter. The prince will read it in no time. I do hope he will meet me at the park tonight. I know it's late, but I have those few minutes. I promise you, Dove, you'll get your time. And you're certain it'll reach him. I'll send it on a paper airplane, don't you worry. Right through his window. I may not be able to deliver your letter personally, but I know someone very discreet who can. You track Nate down in the library and quickly explain the whole plan to him. You're not sure if his troubled eyes are in response to the situation or your earlier spat. Duchess, our prior conversation didn't go how either of us would have liked, but if you helped my sister in this matter, I'll return the favor substantially. He smiles with relief, running his gaze up and down the length of your body. What kind of reward did you have in mind? I'm sure you could think of several interesting ways in which I may reward you. He stepped closer to him, enough to catch his intoxicating scent. I couldn't stand to leave you hurting today. The sooner we make things right for Louise, the sooner I can bring focus on making things right with you. It won't be easy, Duchess, but you have to work for it. He reaches up to hold your face, but teasingly tilts your head to the side. So, will you? You resist the urge to close the distance between your lips and his. He refrains as well, either to demonstrate his commitment or to test you. Head to the park, Louise, Duchess. I'll make sure the prince meets you there in secret tonight. He takes the letter from you, and the conspiratorial wink, his fleeting touch, sends a spark running through your body. Your eyes never leave his as he steps out to call on the prince. Once he's gone, you remind yourself of the task at hand. This might work. I'd best to make sure Louise is prepared. Later that evening, you find yourself pacing back and forth in front of an unobtrusively placed bench, too nervous to sit. What if he doesn't show up? Was I too forward with my words? Don't fret, dog. Everything you wrote was perfect. Have faith. He will show up. But how should I act when I see him, Sophie? I think you declare yourself. After all, you're in love with the prince, are you not? Yes, of course, but how am I to know that he feels the same? You have written your true intentions in the letter. If he shows today, it is because he loves you too. I wish you could see what I have. The boy is positively smitten with you. Nothing could change that. At last you see Nate approaching, with the young prince by his side. The young man's handsome face is drawn, his clothing more disheveled than usual. Your Grace, Lady Louise, words cannot express how relieved I am to see you. And you've been on my mind constantly. The prince's eyes are dark with worry, and your heart gladdens at the sight of his genuine concern for your sister. I'll let you two chat. I think you have much to discuss. You and Nate give the young lovers their space, moving aside as the prince listens intently to Louise. And then he went in for a kiss, but my sister intervened just in time. But Lady Saunders saw everything and told everyone. I tried to clear things up with you, but no one would talk to me, and... Undaunted, the prince hangs on your sister's every word as she unloads all she's been feeling. I'm so sorry, Lady Louise. I had no idea. I wish I had. I should have been there. You're here now, and it means the world to me. The prince's smile widens at your sister, and you suspect your eyes are not the only ones to grow damp with emotion. Louise certainly found her love match. She always had love. With you looking out for her, she'll never be without. You swear you see his eyes glisten with emotion, but he turns away from you before you can be certain. I will see you again soon, Lady Louise. In the meantime, you will be close to my heart. And you as well, Prince Maxwell. In my heart, I mean. With a final press of his lips to her hand, the prince slips away with Nate. As she makes her way back to you, Louise is practically floating with happiness. I take it that he understood? That and so much more, sister. It was too romantic for words. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I will never forget what you've done for me, and more importantly, for us. That's what sisters are for. Come, we must plan our ball. Jean braces you tightly before the two of you make your way to the town home before dinner. At dinner that evening, Louise is still overflowing with happiness after her clandestine meeting with the prince. The parsnips just heavenly this evening? They taste so woodsy, don't you think? Don't be silly, Louise. The parsnips taste like parsnips, as per usual. I don't think I've seen Louise smile as much since the spectacle.
Oh, what's all this about parsnips? I should think we have dashed more important things to be talked about.
Turnips, perhaps, or rutabagas. Rutabagas are something I haven't heard in a while.
No, some blasted rumor about Louis tricking some poor fellow into an engagement. Everyone in the club is on about it.
Poor fellow? Louise bursts into tears, drops her fork, and rushes from the room.
Dear Lord, how could a girl be so sensitive about a rumor?
How would you like a rumor started about you? For goodness sake, Lawrence, Louise was entrapped. Lord Farrell's offer of marriage is no better than extortion. He has taken terrible advantage of Louise's innocent nature. Her very reputation is at stake, but Lord Farrell refuses to admit any wrongdoing. In fact, he's blaming Louise for his own deplorable actions. You angrily rip a bread roll in half, toss the pieces to the side. Lawrence blinks in alarm.
Steady on, Sophie. Surely I say, Pippin, can't you control the girl? What do you think I asked you to dinner for?
My apologies, Your Grace, but the girl, as you say, is her own woman. One who's sitting right here. You may talk to me, not about me. Lawrence, for once, listen to me. Louise is completely innocent. In fact, if anyone has acted dishonorably, it's Lord Farrell. For once, your words appear to actually penetrate your husband's thick skull. Lawrence tips his head thoughtfully to the side.
Didn't realize Lord Farrell was the cad in question. Just put a rather different spin on the thing. Well, if she does wind up marrying the fool, I'll be at least see if she gets better terms, protect her dowry and the like.
Oh, how thoughtful of you, Lawrence. Lawrence puffs his chest out importantly, clearly pleased with the praise.
Yes, well, I have a bit of influence with the man. Perhaps I could also see that her dress allowance is more generous.
What a relief for Lady Louise, I'm sure. At least she'll be fashionably miserable.
She'll be able to move in the best of London society. Might as well get some enjoyment out of the marriage, eh?
Enjoyment. While married to Lord Farrell, still, at least Lawrence is trying. No, he's not. This is so unexpected. After all, you've never shown much interest in Louise's future before. Or any interest, to be honest.
Yes, well, I've never needed to show interest before, have I?
I believe what my ungrateful daughter means is to say thank you. Wow, what a mother. Isn't that right, Sophie? I honestly do appreciate your assistance, Lawrence, but how will you manage to make Lord Farrell agree to it?
Out a few £1,000 of Farrell's gambling debts at the club, I'd wager to do a lot to have those forgiven. Don't worry, Sophie, I'll see that the fellow's proposes, and on terms that suit Louis.
Thank you, Lawrence. You have my gratitude for clearing this business up. You can't help but notice Nate's eyes flashing ominously across the table at your words. As soon as you finish dinner, he scrapes back his chair when he speaks. His voice is hard. If you could join me in the drawing room, Duchess, I feel it incumbent on me to help you navigate this proposal. You make your excuses and follow him silently to the drawing room. As he closes the door behind you both, he rounds on you with an angry expression. How can you let that boor marry Louise off to an even bigger lout? I know it isn't the solution we're hoping for, but it may be, Theo. We have no choice. Literally, the prince. What the hell? What the hell did we just work for if you're Oh, I agree with Nate for once. There's always a choice, Duchess. For example, you choose to marry the Duke. No one forced you down that aisle, and look how that turned out. How dare you? You know I sacrificed everything for my family so we wouldn't be thrown out on the streets. And now you would condemn Louise to the same fate? That's the case for thousands of women. Lawrence is at least trying to help, which is more than I can say for you today. Oh, he got the prince to meet her. Are you serious? Girl, do you have your head that far up your own ass? All you could think of was your private lesson to distract me. He steps forward, his chest heaving with barely restrained emotion. Your own breath quickens, decorum battling with your untamed desire. Can you blame me? We have such little time together, I can't even show you how I feel half the time. That's been an issue, or never been an issue with you before. That was because before I didn't... Never mind. No, tell me, before you never what? He takes another step forward, his eyes flashing dangerously. You can feel the heat radiating off of his skin, making you flush in response. Don't you know why, Duchess? He reaches out, drawing one finger slowly down your cheek. Ever so slightly, he glides his hand to cup the bare of your neck. The air between you crackles with tension, your skin burning at his touch. When he speaks again, his voice is a husky whisper. I need you like I need air to breathe. Like the sun needs the sky, like the ocean needs the water. You shiver at his words, pressing your thighs together as they stir something deep inside of you. Every instinct in your body is telling you to let yourself go. Most of all, I need to be with you tonight. I know a lot of you wanted that diamond choice, but basically it says take Nate right here, and I'm gonna pass on Bout Chicka Wow. We can't. It's what got me in all this trouble in the first place. Your heart pounding furiously in your chest. You force yourself to step back. Sophie. No. If you've said your piece, I'm going to actually try and fix this whole terrible situation. As you brush past him, he takes your arm. Even through the fabric of your gown, his touch is still enough to make your knees weak. Sophie, wait, about this whole situation, about us. Nothing between us has changed. I'm the Duchess of Suffington, and you're my tutor. That is all we will ever be to the world. To the world, perhaps, but what about to each other? He leans forward, his lips just brushing the delicate skin below your ear as he lowers his voice to a whisper. You feel your body stirring in response, a wave of longing washing through your veins. To me, you are so much more. Remember that, Duchess. Later, you ready yourself for bed in a dreamlike haze, thoughts drifting towards Nate. I hope he and I have come to an understanding, because Louise is far from out of the woods, and the looming ball, snuggled beneath the silk-covered and eater-down quilt, beginning to drowse when you hear a soft tap on the door. Surely he wouldn't do something so risky, would he? But when you open the door, it's not your lover standing outside your room. It's your husband. Good. You're still up? An unpleasant realization suddenly dawns on you. It has been rather a long time since you and Lawrence have been intimate. I suppose you want to come in. I'm rather tired, unfortunately, but of course I would always welcome your company.
I don't intend to stay, Sophie. I'm just here to tell you that I sorted it all out. Lord Farrell will officially propose at the ball we're hosting next week.
He beams with pride as he waits for your response. You clutch the door frame, suddenly unsteady on your feet. Thank you, Lawrence. How wonderful. As your husband strides away down the corridor, whistling happily to himself, you close the door, leaning against it for support. Nate was right. If Louise is to have any chance of happiness, I must secure a better proposal before the ball. Alright, without further ado, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down to the description of the video. Plenty of things to check out there. Without further ado, let me know in the comment section below how you feel about the video and everything that happened. Yeah, no, I don't really have any differing thoughts. You guys know, how I feel about this book and everything in it. Well, I'll just say this. Rumors are just rumors. And I would hope, especially for all of you listening right now, this is my pro tip for you for life. Don't believe everything you hear or see. More so here, but um, by see, I mean like you read in media or whatnot. Proof. If someone comes to you and says that someone said something, there's one thing to listen and you say, well, I'll certainly take that under advisement, right? But you could always ask for proof as well, right? I know there's people who, I'll just say this very short and TLDR, who have said things about me, right? We had a whole thing the first few years of doing choices, right? And there was never any proof. Never audio, never video, never screenshots, never nothing. There was no proof whatsoever. And because I came out, I set the record straight, and I'm like, hey guys, you should ask for proof. I am more than happy to be held accountable, but otherwise, don't believe everything you hear. Right? It's just that rumors. It's something that even back then was very detrimental to someone's livelihood, very, and it still is to this day. Those things have not changed whatsoever. Just rumors and trying to defame someone and things like that, trying to smudge their character, their integrity, all of it. It's just something that's not good. It's just really something that's not good. And if we've learned anything in the last few years, especially with like court cases and things like that, and things coming out in the woodwork for people and all of that. Like I said, don't always believe what you read, especially the media and everything else, right? Um, make your own opinions. If you're invested enough to look into something, look into it, especially if you care enough. Get all information, get as much information as possible. Don't jump to conclusion. And the biggest sign of ignorance is to open your mouth immediately and automatically jump on one side or the other. You wait, a little bit of patience, right? Even fast food takes a minute or two to be made. Wait. That's it. Without further ado, thanks for watching. Catch you all later. Peace out.